the first chapter is really the only chapter that focuses on admiring the problem of how hard the labor market is right now. And as you said, Maureen, the rest of the book is really focused on what employers can do very, very practically. But that first chapter just simply lays out the argument that if you think as an employer you're having a hard time finding and keeping talent now, we've got bad news for you. It's only going to get worse and worse because unfortunately the mainstream economics and mainstream business press is really always focused on the demand side of the labor market of whether we have a recession, whether employers are needing workers or not. And the labor market is just that, a marketplace. And we forget that there's a supply side of the market as well. And the chapter really focuses on the fact that the supply of workers in the United States has been slowly but surely constricting over the last 20 years. And that's for three reasons. One is that the native-born population of the US has been slowly getting smaller and smaller in terms of how quickly it's growing. And that is, contrary to when we were growing up, we were told we had a population bomb. Paul Ehrlich's book in the 60s saying that our biggest problem was that we were going to have too many people in the world. Well, turns out that's not the problem. Worldwide, not just in the United States, with the exception of Africa, the population growth curve is beginning to drop. And that's certainly true in the US. So that's the cause number one of the shortage. The second is that the participation rate in the workforce is beginning to also slow down dramatically. So that means participation rate is how many people among the adult population of 16 to 65 are available for work and willing to work. And that participation rate has been dropping steadily over the last decade. Around the turn of the century, around 2000, the participation rate was around 68%. Now it's about 61.5%, dropping even faster. So, and that's primarily because the baby boom generation, of which we are a part, has been, now the tail end is slowly exiting, as we are trying to do, from the labor market. And so the participation rates are dropping there. And the third major factor is the immigration policy. And if it were not for the immigrant increase since the pandemic, because of those other two factors, our labor market would not have grown at all, except for the immigrant population's growth. And now, with the draconian change and dramatic, rapid reversal in immigration policy, foreign-born workers are just no longer available in the workforce. We've literally lost about 700,000 net foreign-born workers in the last 12 months. So now, without the supply of foreign-born workers, we are absolutely flattening out. Even we last were able to touch the book in terms of input writing in the fall. Even since we finished writing the book, those three trends have grown even more dramatic, particularly immigration. So that's why, even though we recognize there are many populations, communities of color, women, people living with disabilities, younger workers, older workers, many of those have much higher unemployment rates than the 4.2% we're dealing with overall nationally. And so those folks may be saying, what do you mean the tight labor market? I'm having trouble finding jobs. It's precisely those populations that we are turning to the employers and saying, that's where your future source of labor is. Those are the communities you need to develop deeper organic relationships with in order to find the future talent for your organization. So yeah, that's the argument.